Call the meeting of the Board of Zoning Appeals to order on this Monday, December the 14th. Mrs. Kukla, read the preamble.
Would you like me to call the roll first, Madam Chair?
I'm going to wait and see if we can get Ms. Faith on.
Oh, right. Yeah, that makes sense. My name's Liz Kukla. I'm the Secretary of the Board of Zoning Appeals, and I'm going to be reading the preamble this morning. In compliance with notification requirements of Ohio's open meeting law under COVID-19 emergency declaration, notice of this meeting has been publicly posted. All boards and commissions under the purview of the City Planning Department conducts its meetings according to Robert's Rules of Order. Actions during the meeting will be taken by voice vote. Abstentions from any vote due to a conflict of interest should be stated for the record prior to the taking of any vote. In order to ensure that everyone participating in the meeting have the opportunity to be heard, we ask that you use the raise hand feature before asking a question or making a comment. The raise hand feature can be found in the participants panel on the desktop and mobile version and activated by clicking the hand icon. Please wait for the chair or facilitator to recognize you and be sure to select unmute and announce yourself before you speak. When finished speaking, please lower your hand by clicking the raise hand icon again and mute your microphone. We will also be utilizing the chat feature to communicate with participants. The chat feature can be activated by clicking the chat button located on the bottom of the WebEx screen. All meeting activity is being recorded via the WebEx platform. These proceedings are also being live streamed via YouTube for public view. We have provided a link to the meeting for those who wish to speak on a particular case via our website and email. We have also received emails from those who have provided written comment on a particular matter. Back to you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Please call the roll.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ms. Britt.
Sorry, my mute button was far away. Here.
Thank you. Mr. Donovan. Ms. Faith.
I am present.
Ms. Barnes.
Here.
Ms. Johnson.
Yes, here.
Madam Chair, we have a quorum.
We should have a full house.
Yep.
Okay, great.
I didn't hear my name.
Who didn't hear their name?
Shelley McMillan.
Okay, well, Shelley, you're not on the board.
Oh.
That was just a roll call of the board members to see if we have a full house. Okay.
But now we know you're here.
I see that we have a request for postponement on 5715 and 13 Side Avenue. I think that's the way you pronounce it. Oh my God. There's a man at my window. I'm on the 20th floor. Holy, scared the hell out of me. They're washing windows. Okay, and the reason for the postponement?
Madam Chair, they are still working with the city on the site plan. There's some indication that they may be changing the site plan. So let's give them to January 25th.
Okay. Without objection, board?
Without objection.
Objection.
Okay, great. Okay, now we'll start. Ms. Faith, are you going to be able to read? Since I can't, okay, I can't see you on the screen.
You'll see me in 1 second.
Okay. We'll be starting with calendar 20-194.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Calendar number 20-194 at 7902 Bessemer Avenue. William McMillan, owner, proposes to use a scrap metal yard and outside storage in a B3 general industry zoning district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record.
Thank you very much. Tim? Mr. Donovan? Tim, you're breaking up. I can't understand.
There may be somebody.
Is
Tim,
Ms.
you might
Wagner? Could we have
Tim,
Ms.
you might want to try calling in, Tim, so that we get your audio. But we can go ahead and have someone else read the statement.
Carolyn,
first.
can you do that, please?
I can do that, Madam Chair. I'm handy.
Oh,
Do we
Handy.
have everyone? Do we have everyone present for this case? Can you please raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear and affirm that all the statements you are about to make are the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? You will respond by saying, I do, one at a time, and followed by stating your name. Who's first?
I do, Shelley McMillan.
Okay.
Is
Anybody
Is
else?
there any?
Is this regarding, does everyone do it?
No,
Just
just
the people
the
for this
Bessemer.
particular case.
Oh, okay. That's why, okay, thank you.
This is
We'll swear-
regarding
we'll
case
swear
number.
We'll swear people in for each individual case.
Right. This is anyone who is making statements on calendar number 20-194. Is there anyone else besides Ms. McMillan?
No, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Madam Chair, back to you.
Are you going to read it into the record? Oh, history of the property, please. This is Kukla.
Thank you, Madam Chair. There's been no change in the zoning since 1929. In the records room, I found that in August of 1956, a permit was issued to erect a 29 by 9 concrete and steel incinerator. There is one variance on file for this address. It was granted in 1970, was calendar number 69-526. It was granted to maintain existing fence at the existing auto wrecking yard and to maintain storage, dismantling, and wrecking of junk cars as well as trucks within 125 feet of Bessemer and East 79th Street. The variance was granted with the condition that the property would be enclosed with a 10-foot high masonry wall along the westerly edge and the other existing fence along the other property lines. I believe that fence was 8 feet at that time. Then, Madam Chair, we see in 2007, a permit was issued to erect 95 linear feet of chain link fence with a gate and 510 feet of 8-foot high chain link with barbed wire and to attach corrugated steel sheeting. Then in 2010, a violation notice was issued regarding illegal unauthorized use as storage of low hazard materials. That's all that I have, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. Ms. Wagner?
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. Appellant is requesting area variances from the distance, street opening, fencing, and off-street parking requirements of the zoning code. To obtain the area variances, appellant must prove that denying the request will create a practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variances will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Thank you very much. I believe Ms. McMillan has been sworn in.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, tell us, are you representing William?
Yes, I'm his wife.
Okay, all right, tell us exactly what he'd like to do.
Well, we're trying to get a occupancy permit for scrap metal license. And from what we understood that we need to get this adjustment done to be able to get the occupancy permit. So this is why we needed to have a variance and a hearing.
Okay, well, why don't you address the three things that you've been cited on?
As far as the non-conformance, there is a fence there. the parking spaces, we do have an area where people can park in the front here on Bessemer.
Yeah, I see that on the plan.
Uh-huh. Now, the other thing that we were asking about was we understood that it was kind of close to a residential area, but we did submit the property that's behind is located on Burr. We also own that, which, helps to kind of divide us from the residential area. So we were just asking for a variance, in order for us to be able to obtain an occupancy permit in order to get our scrap metal license. It is an industrial area, the entire area. We've been there for several years now. So we submitted these plans because obviously the non-conformance sheet, they wasn't sure about where the fence was and the things that they listed. So we drew them out on the site plans to show everything that was there. Because obviously the non-conformance.
Is Miss Britt speaking?
I am not.
Oh,
Sorry, that was me. I was alerted to the fact that the YouTube stream was not functioning properly. So that was the echo of Miss McMillan speaking for the time delay on YouTube. But go ahead. Sorry about that.
I had to excuse myself. I apologize because they were pounding on my window. There's some kind of a leakage and he wanted me to check my apartment. I don't have any leakage in my apartment, but so what, do we have a motion? No, we haven't heard from Maurice, City of Cleveland Planning, unless Shannon's with us this morning.
No, I'm here. I would like to ask Mr. Riccardi about the driveway and apron and whether that meets code. Doing a solid rock gravel. I mean, I will say that this property is really a mess right now. I drove by. These were taken last week, and it's really a mess. I'm just wondering if gravel is really going to help this situation much. Well, it doesn't. It's cited in number 3. So rock. We normally do not grant variances for anything other than pavement. A properly graded and paved and drained site. We definitely don't allow sites to drain into the street.
Ms. McMillan, do you understand that?
Well, we don't have a problem with drainage. I'm trying to understand what is it that you're looking for. As the solid rock gravel, it's definitely.
We would like it to meet code.
I'm sorry.
We would like it to meet code. We don't think that there's a hardship here and there's any reason to grant anything other than what meets code.
Okay, so what is it that you are requesting for us to meet the code there? Is it that you want the rock gravel, or what would you like to see? Because we just want to make sure it's done right and that it meets code so that we can move forward with our project here. So what is it that you would like for us to do?
Accessory off-street parking spaces, driveways, and vehicle maneuvering areas shall be properly graded for drainage so that all water is drained within the lot, providing such parking spaces and surfaced with concrete, asphalt, or other acceptable paving material maintained in good condition. No drainage or specific paving detail was shown. Driveway aprons must also be shown on the plan.
The driveway apron there is concrete already.
Okay, and Mr. Riccardi, who determines the matters on this, says the paving and drainage within the lot, you tie into the existing storm drain. We do not ever recommend approval for gravel paving in a commercial area.
Okay, so
We have asked that we have some asphalt.
We have some asphalt there.
In the area. It's just it's a little messy because we do have a salvage yard there, and all the vehicles outside will be moved once we get the scrap metal license.
Looks like a lot of mud to me.
Yes, there's no paving other than the driveway aprons. The rest is all mud.
We don't have any paving there. We don't. We were the rock gravel. Are you saying that's not enough? It's there, but is that not enough?
We're saying that's not sufficient.
Okay, so would you like for us to pave it?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And is that what will allow us to get the occupancy permit?
Not until it's done.
Yeah, but I'm saying I just want to be sure, is that the only thing, we don't want to be.
Right. It needs to be paved and drained.
Drained.
And you would be best served to talk again to Building and Housing, and they can explain all of the details of what needs to happen here.
So,
It's not something we can really do here at the meeting, but I'm sure that Ms. Riccardi or the board of the Building and Housing staff would be more than happy to help you explain what meets code and what's required.
So, Madam Chair, there is still an issue here. The use of the property still needs to be granted. It's not just a parking issue. It is the issue that it is within 500 feet of a residential district. So I think the appellant is looking for approval from that. She needs to have an understanding if the city is going to support that, the use or the distance issue. And then it sounds like she would be open to revising the plan and showing the other items.
Madam Chair, Maurice Rollins again, City Planning. Yeah, we have no issue with the use. It's been established as a junkyard basically for many, many years now, as you heard with the history of the property. So, it's existing, it's fenced properly. So we have no problems with that. But this driveway area really needs to be cleaned up.
Okay.
Driving down in that area, it was the only lot that I saw that had this kind of a mess in front of it.
Okay.
And that's just going to continue to happen with gravel. It's just.
Okay, so once we get this paved, then we should be good to go.
And drained inside the property.
Definitely, you should definitely meet with Building and Housing again and discuss what needs to happen in order for you to meet code. And then you wouldn't even need number 3. If you meet the standard, you won't even need the variance for number 3. That would just fall away.
I'm sorry.
Madam Chair, this is Liz Kukla again, jumping in. The Building and Housing is going to need to see a site plan showing that the parking area is going to be paved. I don't know if Mr. Rollins can go back to the site plan that the appellant submitted. It's hard to see where the fencing is. There's not enough detail on the site plan to show us where the fencing is. There's a building on the parcel. We don't really see that on there, or maybe I'm mistaken, but it looked like there was a building on the parcel. As you can see, this is the only site plan that was submitted to us. So, this is what's going to go back to Building and Housing. So really, we need to see a better site plan showing, it needs to be done by a more professional, I don't know if it needs to be an architect. There are programs online that they can use. But see, from the site plan, we can't see where the solid wall is that was referenced in the variance from 1970. We don't see where the other type of fencing is. We don't see we see the parking, but again, we don't see the aprons or the driveways, where they are in relation to East 79th Street. So we really need to see a more detailed plan.
I submitted the cold colors detailed plan to Mr. Maurice. Did you? And he said that it was sufficient. Did you not see that?
Yeah, that's what's showing on the screen right now.
That's what we've got now.
That's not, I don't see a color plan. This is just a white plan showing the front. I submitted a whole color site plan that shows the fencing and everything in detail. Where's that? And he said he received it.
I did. This is all you sent. Let me double check, but I don't recall seeing anything other than this.
Yeah, I sent the entire, it was three pages. It wasn't just this one.
Let me see if I have a, yeah, you have this.
Another one, the third one.
Right, that's what you sent.
So there's the fence right there. There's the fence, there's the gate, there's the trailer. That shows everything there.
So, Madam Chair, to Mr. Rulins, is this enough for Building and Housing to submit or to issue a permit from? Is this an adequate site plan for Building and Housing?
That's a Mr. Riccardi would have to answer that question, not me.
Yeah,
Mr. Riccardi, can you type?
I thought I said Mr. Riccardi. I'm sorry. The question is to Mr. Riccardi.
But Liz, when you were asking about the fence, is this the fence
That's a photograph, not a site plan, is the answer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Madam Chair, this is Kelly. There's a lot of stuff flying at this woman about what she needs to do and what she doesn't need to do. And I know if it was me, I wouldn't be able to comprehend all of this right now, just flying at me from different people. So I might suggest that maybe a postponement is in order, and that so she can,
Correct.
Get the proper steps to do, so that when she comes back, like Maurice said, she might not even have, it might only be the use one because everything else, falls in line. But I think she needs to be able to regroup so she knows exactly what she needs to do.
Good suggestion. Ms. McMillan,
Right,
do you
I agree.
understand? We'd like you to postpone the case until you can meet with Building and Housing and get it all done the right way.
Okay.
Okay, so let's postpone it till January, Ms. Kukla.
Sure. Are we looking at January 25th as well?
Sure.
All
Without
right.
objection, board?
Without objection.
Without objection.
Without objection.
Okay, thank you.
Without objection.
Okay, great. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Ms. Faith, calendar 20-195.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Get my page turned here. Calendar number 20-195 at 6802 Herman Avenue. Eve Ennis, owner, proposes to erect 36 linear feet of a 6 feet tall wooden fence and 2 storage buildings and a swimming pool in a B1 two-family residential district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record.
Well, let's see if this works. Can anyone hear me? Hello?
Yes.
Go ahead, Tim.
Can you hear me okay? I'm now on my phone.
Yes, sounds great.
Okay. Okay, then, who's ever for this case, I'm going to ask you to raise your right hand. I'm going to make a statement at the end of which I'm looking for a response of I do with your name. Here we go. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do, Chris Demko.
I do, Adam Davenport.
Anyone else?
Okay.
Okay, done, move on.
History of the property, please, Mrs. Kukla.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The property was originally general retail in 1929. In 1979, it was changed to the two-family district. Also in 1979, we found that a conversion of the existing building to mixed occupancy permit was issued. And then, Madam Chair, there are 3 variances on file in calendar 48-313. And again, this is in 1949. a variance was granted to allow manufacturing of ice cream. In calendar 79-152, this was granted in 1979. It was permitted, it allowed for a daycare on the property. And then in calendar 83-318, this one was issued in 1984. A variance was granted to add 4 children to the existing daycare to bring the total to 24 children and 1 employee. Then, Madam Chair, in the more recent history, I found in 2006 through 2015, there were yearly food licenses issued. 2009, there was a certificate of occupancy issued stating that the authorized use is daycare with 24 children and 5 staff. And then in 2015, a permit was issued for a major rehab of a historic building. And that's all that I have, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. Ms. Wagner.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. Appellant is requesting area variances from the requirements of the zoning code regarding fencing and location of pools and storage sheds. To obtain area variances, appellant must prove that denying the request will create a practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and the granting the variances will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Thank you very much. Is Eve Ennis been sworn in?
Right here. Hi.
I'm sorry. Did somebody respond? Because I didn't hear it.
I was sworn in. Hi, Eve Ennis.
Okay, please tell us exactly what you'd like to do.
Well, go ahead. My boyfriend is here. He shares the residence with me. He's also the person who did the plan, so I would like to defer to him.
Okay, that's fine.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Chris Stemko. I was also sworn in. As you'll see in the plans in front of you, there's a lot of information. They have been submitted to the building department, and that's how we came to you. We're requesting, it's sort of a unique use. We own the 2 properties. If you see in the rendering on the page shown right now, the lower left-hand corner, you see our house and the 2 properties which we currently share with our community as community gardens for the last 6, almost 7 years that we've been residents here. There are 2 lots which we have currently or recently consolidated to the house that shows the pool now proposed is now consolidated with the very small postage stamp size lot that surrounds our house essentially. So now it's basically created a side lot instead of the opportunity to have a backyard, which it brings us to the point of where the pool is situated, which is in the sort of center of the lot. And I know that the zoning code requires that pool or buildings need to be started within or no closer than 71 feet from the front property line. So the position of the pool, which is currently at about 43 feet, the purpose was for a sun study based on not just the pool, but the little farm, little garden area that we created in the back so that it gets maximum sunlight for a growing season, as well as its proximity to the house itself. So we can access the utilities from our main house to support the pool and the structures outside. So if we had flipped the pool to the very back, we would have had the garden in shade, or the little farm area in shade a good part of the day. And we would have had a lot longer runs of mechanicals to run from essentially the basement of our home. So, and then as far as the fence in the front is concerned, we're asking for I knew this was coming, but we're asking for a 6 foot tall, it's not quite solid fence. It is solid in view. So the opacity is essentially 100%, but it is, we've put a lot of effort into the design of it so that it would be really decorative and really attractive. It is lit from inside. And as we scroll through the plans, I can give you a better example, but just for the sake of description, it is set back far enough where because the adjacent lots, I apologize for jumping around, but because as you see along the sidewalk here on this drawing in particular, sort of to the right of the drawing, in the middle of the drawing, the property line goes back at an angle So the fence begins approximately 5 feet back from the property line, which would, if it remained 5 feet the entire distance, we wouldn't be here today talking to you about this fence. It would be legal. But because the property line angles back and the fence doesn't, it gets close enough to where, the distance between property line and front fence reduces to such that it becomes a zoning issue. So we are hoping that you would agree and support that the fence is attractive. We also have a lot of landscaping in front to soften its presence. It's set back quite a distance from the street. That sidewalk and our front tree lawn is 20, 25 feet deep. So we put a lot of effort into making sure that the fence is attractive, and we got a lot of support. I've submitted letters of support from all our neighbors surrounding our properties, as well as ex-council member Matt Zone lives a block away, and he's a friend and happily supported us, sent us a letter, as well as Jenny Spencer, who replaced him on council. She also sent a letter of support. At the time, she headed the Detroit Shoreway community development, and we continue. We want, as you'll see, this is a perfect place to stop, guys. If you could, respectfully, if you see up in the upper right hand or left hand corner, you'll see we anticipate continuing to offer the remaining lot as community gardens. We have a lot of neighbors around here that rely on it for just their own, for their, whether it's hobby or just, they're quite bountiful gardens. So we really enjoy spending time with our neighbors and offering them the opportunity, as we have no plans in the future to develop it for more housing or any other use than sharing it for that purpose. So due to this COVID and all this, we decided, as much as we travel, we thought this would be something we could, knowing there's a vaccine, that's wonderful, but we thought as we were planning, this would be a great place to spend time, have a nice backyard without, we enjoy our neighborhood. We don't really have any interest in living in the suburbs. So, I know it's unique to Cleveland, but we're hoping that you guys will appreciate what we're asking for and support us.
Mr. Demko, tell me the size of, it's very hard for me to read this, even though I've enlarged it as much as I can on my computer, the size of that pool.
The pool is 16 by 32, roughly 16 wide by 32 deep. It's roughly 4.5 feet deep, from 3.5 feet to 4.5 deep. It's not a diving pool.
Yeah, that's what I was concerned about, that it would be deep too. Yeah, okay.
So, and I will tell you this, folks, we are investing in a automatic cover that is rated such that adults could walk on it when it's closed, including, therefore, any animals, including the size of a deer, which I have seen periodically in the years that I've lived here, walking up West 67th or such from the railroad tracks that divide us from Edgewater Beach. So that was a concern. We have a lot of stray cats, a lot of dogs in the neighborhood. There are not that many children, though. There's always that possibility that children at night might want to jump in, and I recall from my childhood finding people's pools. We would do it all the time, I hate to admit. However, with that automatic pool, we intend to use it each and every night, where it would be when we were, at any time we weren't using it, that cover would be activated, and therefore anyone who entered without permission, including animals, would have no risk of drowning.
I understand. I grew up with a pool, and my daughter has one now with that same cover, and we have walked on it already numerous times. She's had it now for over 10 years. It's very nice.
Good. I appreciate
it's a great asset to keep out, as you said. She's got a deer in her backyard and all, so
all right.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you noticing that. Thank you.
Adam Davenport. Hi.
Hi. Hello. Good morning. So this confused me at first when I saw the request, but it's a little bit unusual situation, clearly, because of the house that Chris and Eve live in is just bordered by the parcel is the house border, basically. So this adjacent lot is their side yard, which is why this kind of arises. Obviously, you probably don't want pools in the front yards of houses for, insurance and liability reasons. So they are typically located in the rear yards. this obviously is more of a side yard situation, but I think it does make sense. We want a higher fence around it so people are not, or children are just not, wandering out of the property, wandering in the pool for liability reasons. Chris and I did talk last week about the location of the fence itself. And, if it was decorative, if it was landscaped, it seems for the site plan that he is meeting, the essence of the code. If it is, 6 feet high, that it is, I think, towards the western boundary, it is pretty deep and more than 4 feet back, which the code would require. Towards the eastern land of the property, it is closer than 4 feet, but it's still landscaped as such and still, a pretty elegant fence. So, we're in support of that situation, or, slightly moving it back and forth to entirely meet code. I think the essence of that is there. I'm not sure if it particularly matters in this case. So I think this has been thought out and this was good. We support it. I'm also interested in hearing that we supported a variance in 1949 for ice cream manufacturing, but that was neither here nor there.
We'll talk about the ice cream.
Wonderful.
It was a very popular candy store for generations, apparently. So the neighborhoods, the older people in the neighborhood are constantly raving about, telling us the story over and over how they used to get candy as children. So.
Welcome to my world. Any other questions, board? Comments? Maurice, City of Cleveland Planning?
Oh, well, we could, Adam
We're
Davenport.
going to use Adams. No problem.
I would just like to say that, we may require a site visit, maybe in June.
July.
Maybe July, just
I promise
kidding.
you're all welcome. You're all welcome.
Yeah, you say that now, wait.
We are charging admission, but you are welcome.
Oh.
We're just kidding, obviously, but.
Okay, yeah, great. I'll entertain a motion.
Yeah, Madam Chair, this is Kelly. I'll do a motion. First of all, I want to commend this couple for making this quite an urban oasis. I'm very impressed by the layout, and I really like the fact that they decided, to do this and stay in the city of Cleveland. So kudos to them for that. So with support from city planning, as well as the former councilman and neighbor and new councilwoman, and it looks like a lot of neighbors surrounding them support them as well. I move that we approve the variances as requested for calendar -195.
Do I have a second? Okay, great. Call the roll.
Mr. Donovan? Ms. Faith?
Yes.
Ms. Barnes?
Yes.
Ms. Britt?
Yes.
Ms. Johnson?
Yes.
Calendar 20-195 is granted. It'll be ratified next week and we will send you a letter.
Folks, thank you so much. We really do appreciate it.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays to you too. Thank you.
Thank you.
Calendar 20-148 at 927 East 123rd.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This case was postponed from October 19th, 2020, calendar number 20-148 at 927 East 123rd Street. Paul McPherson, owner, proposes to add carry-out restaurant structure on existing lot with barber shop in a C1 local retail business district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record.
Thank you very much.
Please raise your right hand. I'm going to make a statement. Afterwards, I'm looking for a response. The response is, I do, and your name. Here we go. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Your name?
Paul McPherson.
Thank you, Paul. Anyone else? Hearing none, we move to history.
Okay, history of the property, please. Mrs. Kukla.
Thank you, Madam Chair. It was originally zoned general retail in 1929. In 1966, it was changed to local retail business. And the records from I found that in 1923, a permit was issued to erect a one-story gas station and install 2 gas tanks. In 1945, a permit was issued to erect an auto service building. And then, Madam Chair, I think the most important information is that in calendar 16-149, a variance was granted to change use to carry out and barber shop. The variance was granted without any conditions. And Madam Chair, the site plans are identical. That's all that I have, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. Ms. Wagner, the legal standard will be judging.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. Appellant is requesting area variances from the off-street parking, driveway placement, and side yard setback requirements of the zoning code. To attain the area variances, appellant must prove that denying the request will create a practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variances will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Thank you very much. Mr. McPherson.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we postponed the case so that you could either meet with the city about the land bank lot. Have you accomplished that?
Yes, those were 2 separate entities. I spoke with Ms. Sharonda. She was working with me, and she emailed me and told me that she had everything worked out and sent everything in as far as that was concerned.
Is Sharonda with us this morning, Mr. Ruins?
I don't see her.
I don't either. Okay.
Shannon Leonard is here, though. She maybe she could enlighten us as to.
Okay.
Shannon, are you familiar with? You discussed this with Sharonda?
Madam Chair, if I could jump in, this is Liz.
Yes.
It has been brought to our attention that the land bank lot is not part of the plan shown before you. It is regarding a land bank lot across the street. I believe that's what Ms. Watley has told us. So what you're looking at today does not include the land bank lot. Therefore, the land bank lot transfer is not required at this time.
Okay, so we're just going to judge it on what we've got in front of us.
Correct.
Well, we have to review this today at the table.
Can I add one thing, please?
Wait, I got to make it a little bit bigger on my screen. Jeez.
This is a rehearing. That was already granted. Previously were approved by the board. I also got support, Councilman Conwell letters attached as well, and support from the neighbors. I attached that as well. Everything's ready. I'm ready to submit to building and housing for plan approval and construction inspection. Everything's been ready to go. I have support from the councilman and the neighbors surrounding the area.
Okay, yeah, we do have Councilman Conwell's letter supporting you. Were there any other letters, Liz, other than Councilman Conwell?
Madam Chair, I wasn't sure if Mr. Rulins had shown those or not. Let me.
I don't have any other letters. I just have the letter from the councilman, which is right, which I just had up there.
Let me double check. I don't see them. I don't see them right off the bat. Let me scan a little more through this.
I also had I'm also had support from the neighbors surrounding.
Yeah, Councilman Conwell says the neighbors on the street they've gotten the support from.
Yeah, I don't see them in the file. Let me check my email.
Well, Madam Chair, Maurice Rowland, City Planning, I will say that, as you just pointed out, the councilman has affirmed that there is support in the neighborhood. And I will say I have been out at the property, took pictures. Mr. McPherson does a really nice job. You can see in this aerial, the place was not so great looking not too long ago. And he's really done an amazing job cleaning this up. Everything's painted neat and clean. I think that the driveway is more than adequate to handle the volume of traffic that they'll have at this location. We are supportive of this variance with the councilman's support.
Okay. Any other comments or questions, board? Now I'll entertain a motion.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Ms. Faith?
it's evident the improvements that Mr. McPherson has made in the site. It's looking quite cute now. So with the support of City Planning and Councilman Conwell, I move that we go ahead and approve this variance.
Second, call the roll.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Donovan,
Yes.
Ms. Britt,
Yes.
Ms. Barnes,
Yes.
Ms. Faith,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson.
Yes.
Calendar 20-148 is granted. It'll be ratified next week and we will send you a letter.
Thank you very much.
Good luck
Thank
to
you.
you. Mhm.
Nice job on the property.
Thank you, sir. You
Yeah.
have a good day.
Yeah, it looks really good.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, to Ms. Kukla, can you just tell me the date to which we postponed case number 2123 and 128, please?
January 25th.
Yes, January 25th.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Calendar 20-176 and 77.
Okay. Postponed from November 23rd, 2020, calendar number 20-176 and calendar number 20-177, both at 7501 Rutledge Avenue. This is number 1 and number 2, Crescent Private Equities, RE 2018C, owner, proposes to erect a 2-story single-family residence, 2-story frame, single-family residence with attached garage in a B1 2-family residential district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record.
Thank you very much. And since we've already had the testimony, we'll go right to the legal standard we'll be judging the case on.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. Appellant is requesting area variances from various requirements of the zoning code, including those related to maximum gross floor area, minimum lot width, minimum lot size, front yard setbacks, side street line setbacks, rear yard, side yards, distance, and maximum height. To obtain the area variances, the appellant must prove that denying the request will create a practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variances will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code. And please note that Section 32904C of the zoning code places some limitations on the board's ability to grant front yard setback variances.
Thank you very much, Ms. Wagner. Who's the representative of the Crescent Private Equities?
I am Thomas Fisher.
I'm sorry?
I am Thomas Fisher.
Okay, Tom
We didn't
Fisher.
swear anybody in.
Oh, we missed swearing in.
Oh, we missed swearing in. Oh, boy.
Are we
Okay,
ready?
Tom.
Anyone for this case, raise your right hand. I'm going to read the statement. You respond by saying, I do, with your name. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give, is the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do, Tom Fisher.
I do, Adam Davenport.
Anyone else?
That's it?
Thank you.
Okay.
Madam Chair, we have someone by the name of Mike with his hand raised. Sir, did you have a question or?
No, I'm the architect.
Oh, okay. Did you
you
say
like
I
to
do
be
and get your name?
Mike McGettrick.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, the last time we were together, we postponed to, at your request, to bring more information about the setbacks. Can you bring us up to date on that now, please?
And Madam Chair, I believe this is the revised site plan.
Okay.
That is correct. This is Mike McGettrick speaking. Yes, so what you see in front of you is the revised site plan based off of your advice of getting more of the surrounding properties in that site plan to better describe what we're looking for on the front yard setback of the property. So if we look at this site plan, the property at 7421, the setback is 7'10" or 17'10", and the other property at 7423 is 20 foot, and then the one at 7507 is 20 foot, and 7511 is 20 foot, and then 7515 is 1810. So based from what we were provided by the board, the exception is that if there's a property that encroaches that 20-foot setback within 150 feet of our property, that we could encroach on that setback. So what the site plan shows is that we have moved the properties to the 17'10", and 17'10". We've moved them back from what they were previously 15'4". So we've moved them back 2'6", and we're hoping that you would grant us that front yard setback.
Adam, I'd like to hear from you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We're in support of this general plan. This is something that we want to see. This is a demolition of a ranch house and a kind of return to conformance of the regular neighborhood parcel dimensions and new houses on those normal parcels. So these are standard 40 by 120 parcels, or approximately as such. The only issue that we had last time with the case on November 23rd was that could it be pushed back all the way to the 21-foot, I think, request. And it seemed to me, knowing the neighborhood, I live right around the corner, and looking at some of the aerials on the maps, that some of these houses were probably closer than what was proposed to be the average setback. So if these are accurate measurements and the 17-foot 10-inch compromise is accurate, then we are okay with that plan.
Okay, thanks, Adam. Anybody else?
Mr. Riccardi review this?
Tom or Mike or?
Oh, yes.
Review this.
I would like to. I went out and measured these properties, which are shown on this site plan, to get accurate setbacks. And I had done that previously, but I did not represent it in the site plan of the original submission. So I just wanted to show that the surrounding properties and their setbacks.
Gotcha. Adam, the city has no objection then to this property.
None from our standpoint in city planning.
Okay. Board, any other comments or questions? I'll entertain a motion.
Madam Chair, for the record, to the appellant, or through you to the appellants, do they see that there are any changes in the side yards or rear yards that may affect the original write-ups?
No, nothing. The rear yard on 7503, which in the submission is property number 2, it did decrease from 16 to 13 foot 10. It is a garage that is abutting that rear yard, and the rear yard is actually a 8-foot concrete retaining wall. So that was the only dimension that had changed. And then the dimension of the setback of 7427, it went from, I believe, 40. Yes, it went from 4810 to 46 2. But those are the only other things that, besides the front yard and the rear yard, are the only dimensions that had changed.
Okay, Mrs. Kukla.
So one more time, if you can tell me 20-176, the rear yard will be, what's the number again?
I'm sorry. Which one is
house
that?
number 2?
Yeah, house number 2. Sorry.
It went from 16 to 13 foot 10.
So then the question is to our attorney, is this something that's significant enough? It has been advertised that they need a variance from the rear yard requirements, but legally, what are your thoughts, Ms. Wagner?
Probably, given that there's no opposition in the neighborhood and unlikely to be any court challenge, it could be considered an insignificant change that would not require re-advertising. However, the appellant is taking that risk that if somebody does decide to challenge it, that it wasn't advertised. I don't think it's significant in the overall context. And I think the board has the ability to move forward if the appellant requests that they do.
Absolutely.
Okay. Moving right along. I'll entertain a motion.
Madam Chair, to Ms. Kukla, does that fulfill all your information, Liz, or do you need any information on unit number 1?
Yes, it's my understanding that unit number 1 is only changing the front yard setback number. I guess we want to just verify that with the appellant.
The rear yard changed by 2 foot 6, so it went from 4810 to 46.2, but which did not need to be addressed since it was
right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Correct.
Okay, so that's sufficient, Ms. Kukla?
Yes, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Okay.
Go ahead, Ms. Faith.
Okay. Given that we heard testimony on this case back on October 30th, and they're back before us with the necessary information that we requested, and they've fulfilled all of their distance changes, and we have all that information. And with the support of city planning and Mr. Davenport living close by to keep a watchful eye over the project, I move that we go ahead and support this variance.
Do I have a second?
Second. Kelly, second.
Okay. Call the roll, Ms. Kukla.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ms. Britt?
Yes.
Ms. Faith?
Yes.
Ms. Barnes? Ms. Barnes?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Donovan?
Yep.
Ms. Johnson?
Yes.
Calendar 20-176 and calendar 20-177 is granted. We will ratify it next week and send you a letter.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Stay safe.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Okay, I guess we have old business, but I don't have a copy, so
I'll bring it up here in 1 second.
thank you, darling.
There you go.
Okay, we're talking hold on.
Oh, that's a typo on the Lee Road. We're not waiting for anything from that. That's good. That's ready to
Okay.
go.
1 through 5 and 15, 16, and 17 without objection.
Kelly, without objection.
Okay, and we have that we were requiring an affirmation on 4617 Memphis. They're appealing our decision on the denial of a dollar store.
Yep. Yes,
ma'am.
Of course they are.
Yeah. Okay, so they need, what is the reason for the affirmation?
Madam Chair, this is not an affirmation. This is just a notification. It's, if you'll see to the left, it's just a miscellaneous item that
Okay.
they are taking
our
it to.
decision. Okay.
Yeah, they're going to the Court of Common Pleas.
Tell them to have a nice time in 3 years when they get to court. Okay, meantime, have a wonderful week, everybody. Stay well.
Thank you.
All right.
So, to the other board members, did you receive my old business? I think I sent it on Friday.
No.
And Carol didn't get my, did you get the agendas and the resolutions that I sent yesterday?
Those I received.
Okay. Okay. All right.
But
And
the,
Maurice, you got my old business though, right, Maurice?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Maurice gets it. We're fine.
Sorry about it, guys. I don't know what
Because
happened.
then I can display it for everyone.
Yeah. I am getting notices that my mailbox is getting full, so I don't know if that's has anything to do with it or not. It's weird.
Well,
Do you know how we're measuring up to last year in terms of cases?
Oh, I think we just hit 200. So I can get that number to you. I'll make a note. But it's I think we usually hit 300, right? 300 plus?
No, 291, I think, last year.
291 last year? Okay. Yeah, we're at 200, maybe 209 at this point. So
That's not too bad considering the coronavirus.
yeah, really.
Okay.
Liz, you send a lot of stuff with attachments, so your email is going to get overwhelmed. So you're going to have to find somewhere else to put them.
Archive.
Yep,
archive, exactly.
Right.
So Maurice, whenever I've set up an archive, I don't have to go back.
Are we adjourned? I don't want to be talking
we
about
are adjourned.
Oh, sorry.
Let me stop the live stream. Okay, we've stopped the live stream. Okay, go ahead.
There's somebody else. I don't know if you care if there are other people on here.